Hey, what's up everybody? We'll be starting the stream very soon, so please stay tuned. Today we're here with Evy Parkinson. She is a holistic healer, someone who I met around Tobago, really interesting Instagram page, YouTube, and website. She has courses available for persons and personal consultations available, so we'll be getting into some of that as we go through the conversation today. Welcome back to another episode of Equilibrium Podcast. I'm your host again, Robert Yates. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, so make sure and share out the stream so anybody interested in holistic health information can see some of that. Just a quick introduction to our guest today. She's a holistic healer, emotional therapist, nature lover, writer. Evy Parkinson will be exploring a little bit of what that means for us and like our minds during this COVID experience. It's quite tough on some people. I know myself, haven't been getting much rest and a little anxious and stuff at times. So joining me we have Evy here. I'm just gonna pull her in. Hey Evy, how are you doing?
I'm in.
You're in. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for this. I have to start by saying this is new to me, this life experience in camera.
No problem.
I've had workshops and things, but with people in front of me, like real people. So this is.
Yeah, the live streaming is kind of difficult. I could understand because
it's just new.
You're talking.
It's just new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just new. But it's good. It's good. Thank you.
Yeah. So could you help the audience understand a little bit of what it is that you do as a therapist, as a
Yes, basically, my background is psychology. I did a degree in psychology, clinical hypnotherapy. I've studied different techniques like EFT, emotional freedom technique. I apply meditation, and with this, I also practice Tai Chi and Qigong for many years. So basically, what I do along the years after I've been studying and practicing all these different techniques
Hmm.
is that I ended up putting all together, right? So now when I see a client, I call it a holistic health because I see the person as mental, emotional, and physical. So I see the characteristics of each of those areas. That's why it's called holistic health. So the holistic, it means, the holistic we're talking about here, means that it's mental, emotional, and physical because each other affect each other. Each one affects each other.
Yeah, because I noticed on your website, like on some of your flyers, you have like mind, body, soul, so that you could see the differences, but it's all connected, you know.
Yes, it's all connected. And that's the idea of holistic. So what I have learned from my experience,
Hmm.
um, there's no real health if we don't take care of everything, each area. Like if you are healthy physically, but then your mind is not healthy, then your mind is going to end up affecting your physical body through your emotions.
True.
So that's why it's so important to take care of ourselves as a holistic individual because we are everything. We are, the thoughts, emotions, and our physical body. We can't just treat one thing and then the other parts are being neglected because at the end they're gonna affect you.
Right, because a lot of people,
That's how stress gets to your physical body, for
uh,
example.
like people are okay with getting physical therapy, and focusing solely on physical therapy, but sometimes not so much the emotional and mental side of things. So yeah, I
Yes,
understand what you're saying.
yes, because it's still, I mean, it is changing and it has been changing, but it's still a little, it's still a little like, oh, I'm seeing a therapist, like, it's kind of taboo, or oh, are you crazy? No, I mean, everybody has a mind and
Right.
everybody has emotions. We all feel the same emotions as humans.
Mm.
So the fact that you look for a therapist, it means that you're looking for help
Right.
and whatever it is that you need help with, and that just to me is something smart that you can do because you're helping yourself to get better, to get over whatever it is that you are going through instead of staying with it for years and years and years and years, and then it becomes something worse.
I get you.
Just because of I mean, it's fear, and I understand. There's some kind of fear behind it because first of all, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know, I can share one common fear from my experience with clients
Yeah.
is that people think that if they go to a therapist, then they're gonna find out they're crazy.
Mm. So it's
So
yeah.
it's the fear of being crazy. So it's better I don't go and they don't tell me that I'm
Right,
crazy.
right, right. And I
Don't
mean, it
go.
happens in medicine as well too. I work with a diabetes group, and they that's quite prevalent as well. A lot of people don't want to go to the doctor because they rather just not know if something is going on, and that yeah, I mean, I guess they say ignorance is bliss too. So that's kind of
Exactly,
that's a way.
exactly.
It's a way of coping, I guess.
It's something like that.
But so, what kind of traumas? Hey, Amy in the comments on Isolate. What's up? Thanks for tuning in, guys. These are viewers in the comments right now. Um,
Oh, okay.
could you explain like some kinds of traumas people might actually go through on a regular basis and might even know? We know when we get a physical injury, we will see where like a black and blue or you feel a pain, but what are some of the daily traumas people might go through, especially during this time, that might affect them?
Right, like emotional trauma.
Yeah.
It's something exactly that you can't really see. That's a really good question. So the example is always to put it with the physical, and that's really good what you did there, because when you hit yourself, then I have a black and blue here. I'm bleeding. But then when you have some emotional or mental stuff, it's like.
How do you recognize?
But I want to add that this is so common that we don't know, like people don't know, because it hasn't been taught to us.
Okay.
We grew up being taught in school about things, about the body, and in general, we're never taught about feeling our emotions or listening to our thoughts or being aware of what's going on. So this is just an important point that I want to clarify for everybody, because everybody goes through these things, and it could be frustrating because you don't know, and then you judge yourself because you don't know, and you hard with this. Well, no, just get over it, just forget it, just why are you still thinking about that? No, it's fine. And it's not fine. It's a wound. So that trauma, the trauma, I call it a wound.
Right.
So just as you have a wound in your body, you have emotional wounds.
Right.
So let's say from childhood, or as the viewer is asking, is daily traumas.
Well, actually, a lot of people are in the comments saying, they're agreeing with what you're saying. Even my cousin is here saying that, she's uncomfortable with being diagnosed or classified or boxed, in anything.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and I agree with that. And that's why I took a different path. Like, I started with psychology because psychology, it has been something that always made me passionate since I was 15 years old. The first time I opened a book of psychology, I was like, this is it. Because I'm so passionate about psychology. Psychology means knowing your psyche, knowing your emotions, knowing yourself. That's what psychology means. But when I started studying, I had an option of being a clinical psychologist and going that path,
okay, or
hypnotherapy. And hypnotherapy treats the subconscious mind. So, it's not the common thing that you go, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, psychiatrist. So I chose not to go that way. I chose to go this way. And that's for the diagnosis part, because I don't like diagnosis. I don't like putting you in a box and being like, oh, this is it, and you have no choice. That's you forever. Like, be with that forever. So to go back to the trauma thing, mainly and simply is something that happens in your life whenever that causes so much overwhelming stress, like it's so many overwhelming emotions at the same time,
right?
And you don't know how to cope with it. That's why it happens usually when you're a child.
Okay.
Because as a child, you don't know how to cope with whatever's happening.
Physically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah.
Emotionally, things that you hear and you listen your parents saying or whoever, and then you believe it. As a child, you believe everything.
Yeah, even in school, I could imagine you're so on autopilot when you're a child. You're kind of more focused on just fun stuff, but you're not really taking into consideration all these different energies,
Yes, exactly. And that's how it becomes a wound. So it's a wound, right? It happened when I was 5, 6, 7, 2, whatever. And then that wound was never healed.
Right.
I never pay attention to it. Nobody pay attention to it because
they might even know, yeah.
It's emotional and mental, so nobody knows about that. They're gonna see when you cut yourself. Right. Oh God, go to the doctor.
Physical bruise or
physical stuff, but the stuff inside, who is seeing it? Who is teaching you? Who is helping you with that?
I think that's really important what you just touched on with the childhood right now, because
And the education part of it.
there's a lot of kids right now at home with their parents, and you know, I mean, they're asking some really interesting questions, like, you know, what's gonna happen when mommy dies, or this kind of stuff. And I think they're surrounded by a lot of, you know, we have all the COVID deaths every day, you know,
Yeah.
coming up, and you know, it kind of, you wonder if these kids are aware of what is happening, you know, how they might be affected right now.
But probably, I mean, they know something is happening because children feel, right? So this is something important to understand. Children feel about around the age of 7 down, earlier from 7, earlier 1 to 7 more or less. Children feel. They feel. They're not thinking. They're not rationalizing. They're not saying, "Oh, this is because that happened." I mean, it's mainly emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just feeling things, feeling. So they know something is going on. They may not understand it fully with the mind, but they feel it and they know. So in these cases, that's why parents or teachers or adults around are important.
To explain these things, what, you know, and guide them to.
And understand them, like how they feel if they're bored or something.
We have a question in the comments, actually. So this is from my cousin. She says, I only recently discovered that I suffered from covert narcissistic abuse for years, and the effects have been difficult to deal with. What can you share with NPD survivors, and how can they cope with having to having to stay in contact with these people? You know, maybe
Right.
it be family or.
I'm sorry, but what is MPD?
I think that's narcissistic personal disorder, I'm guessing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, I don't work with the diagnosis.
Right.
So, you know, I know right now that there's so many diagnoses that are coming out too with children, for example, with ADD and all these things. But I approach it differently.
Okay.
So this disorder that you're telling me now, I actually, it's the first time I'm hearing that.
First time I'm hearing as well, but I know about, you know, narcissistic. Right.
I know narcissistic, of course. So is abusive narcissistic?
So does
What is it?
narcissistic abuse for years she would have suffered, I guess, you know.
Meaning that you in a way are addicted to abuse.
Or maybe the person, I don't know if it's a family member or somebody close by, that they would have just been concerned with themselves alone or so. I'm not sure. Could you explain a bit? And maybe she could answer.
Yes, well, the abuse part is the interesting part, because the narcissistic, it means selfishness. It means that, you know, everything is me, everything goes around myself, and I'm the only one who exists. So that's very interesting, because that is a part of the growth of a child. When you're a child, there's a moment in your early years where the child thinks that he or she is the only person. So just in the top of my head, if you had some kind of issue or trauma in that time, you may have get stuck in that narcissistic way of being.
Okay. Was she saying she would have went through like emotional abuse, mental abuse, and even physical abuse at times?
Yeah.
You know, how can you?
So that means she's saying survivor. So that means that you are out of it, or you getting out of it.
I believe she's out of it right now. But she's saying, well, how do you? She's saying that maybe she has to interact with the person still. How does, like, if it's a close family member or something, like a mother or father or. sibling.
The person that she has to interact with is the one with the issue.
Right.
Okay, understand. Yes, that's it's
I guess that's tough to go do a live.
and it's tough because the thing that I can say about that is that it, the when you have somebody in your household, or somebody who is suffering from mental disorder, or that in that case, for example, it's not only hard for the person with a mental disorder, it's hard for the people living around. So now people living around need to get tools to deal with this also.
Right.
So all I can tell you is that sounds like a specific case.
Well, yeah, she's saying she's out of it now, but as a parent, so she might still have to you have to interact with your parents at some point in life. So
what I can tell you is, yes, you have to interact with them, but you need to. How old is she?
She's in her 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you can have in mind right now is, if you have to interact with them, you have to find a way for you to keep yourself healthy and sane. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, because you can't change them, or you can't really help them. Like whatever in whatever their place is, you have to kind of step away and take care of your mental health and your emotional health. You still love them because they're your family. You understand? But we sometimes have to understand that it's out of our hands, which take us back to the control thing, which I remember talking with you about.
Right, control. Right.
Yeah, the letting go of control.
And I mean, you can only control so much for yourself, but when you're driving on the road, you don't know what other drivers are doing.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah.
She said, at times she would have felt like she was going crazy as a child. So
of course.
Yeah. That could be difficult. But yeah, I agree with setting boundaries, perhaps, for yourself and for the person. So that well, once it passes this threshold,
you have to do that for yourself. And
safety mechanism.
Yeah, the boundaries. And not only when you have somebody with a very serious issue in your house or something, in your daily life, in your life in general, that's healthy. It's important to have healthy boundaries. Right. Because that's exactly when abuse can come, or people using you, or people not respecting you.
True.
And that's why healthy boundaries are so important.
That brings to mind something you said when we were speaking before, but the fact that like the difference between needs and wants. Like you would make time to talk to me on video chat, which I appreciate, but there's not a need, there's not that right. dependency, and that I think that could be tough, especially if it's your parent or somebody close. It's kind of hard to differentiate that.
It is hard. I mean, none of that is easy, really. Yeah.
So could you share a bit, like some like the process of therapy in general that you would go through? I know it's not something that's general across the board, but depending on the different person, what are the stages and steps you take?
Right. Sorry. Well, the first thing is that every person is unique. Every person I see is treated as an individual with their own characteristics, in their own conditions, mental, emotional, and physical conditions. So the first thing I would do, I do have a free call consultation for that. So the first phone call is a free consultation, so we can talk directly, and they can ask me questions, and then I can more or less, feel what is it that the person needs. and where they are. So let's say an assessment, right?
So I'm just gonna pull up your website right now so people could see.
Right. And then after that, well, if the person and we agree, because it's important to have that, the agreement between both parts, and we understand each other, then we have a first session. The first session, we go more in depth in the whatever issue specifically that person is going through. And then after that, I can see what technique will help them in that moment. So some of the techniques is psychotherapy or counseling, which is pretty much, sharing and understanding consciously what is happening. And then second, hypnotherapy works with the subconscious mind. So with hypnotherapy, we go to the subconscious mind and we're able to treat things from the past or trauma or change beliefs. When we go to the subconscious mind, the rational mind and the critical mind is bypassed. So we are in a relaxed, safe, and natural state. That's what hypnosis is. One time I'm gonna say it, right?
Say it again, just so we can.
Right. It's a safe, relaxed, and natural state of the brain. You can think about it like a deep meditation. So whenever you go into a deep meditation, your brain waves change to the deepest brain wave, right? The delta, I think.
Okay.
Is it? Right. Yes. So it's in between those two. And when you are there, what it means is that your
active brain, the monkey brain, yeah.
The noise and the worry and the this and the blah blah blah, it kind of gets silenced. So you are able to go deeper and see what is it, like if there's any belief that are controlling you, because those things are in the subconscious.
Right.
So those beliefs and things from the past that are still there, and you can realize that when you have certain patterns in your life that repeat itself.
Okay.
And you're like, oh my God,
subconscious.
Why can I get out of this? Yeah. So pretty much is the subconscious playing out again and again.
So we have a question. Sorry to interrupt. Right. You go ahead. Actually, I'll ask the question after it. So.
Right. So to finish the techniques, then it's hypnotherapy, and then mindfulness is something that I've been applying a lot in the past few years, because I realized how important and helpful it is for health. Mindfulness meaning meditation, just sit, relax, breathe, focus on your breathing. So part of my therapy is also teaching the person. One of the important things to say right now for anybody who may be interested or understand what is that I do, it's not just come and then I do the stuff. It's you will learn to do certain things for you to help yourself.
So you're self-sustaining after. It's not like a...
That's my intention.
Okay.
My intention, of course, at the degree of the person, at the degree of where the person wants to go or how deep they want to go.
Right.
So that's the sharing, because I believe in everybody can find those tools and those resources in themselves, and just with some guidelines and teaching and understanding and experiencing those things, then they can apply it to their own life. And that's my intention.
And I mean, I would imagine you have used a lot of these techniques with, like, just for your own personal development and growth.
Yes.
So it's not just you administering these things, aimlessly, yeah.
No. It's many years since I started studying, which is many years ago. I forgot how many years, but studying and stuff. During the training, you do these things to yourself, and then you keep doing it, because another thing that I believe is that if I'm gonna help anybody to heal, I need to heal myself. I need to know how to heal myself. How am I going to help you if I am, you know,
You have an
I mean,
experience with yourself, I
if,
guess.
if I'm a mess, how am I going to help you? It's true. Like if I am crazy, if my mind and emotions, everything is a mess,
Yeah,
how am I going to help you?
right. You could share the tools at least, I guess.
Share the tools, I guess. Yes.
So we have a couple questions. Have you ever studied anything about past life regressions via hypnotherapy, or is that not something you involve yourself with?
I I didn't specifically do that course.
Hmm.
I only did it to childhood regression, right? Because I believe that everything or anything that we may be carrying from other lives, we can heal it in this life. And that was a personal choice that I did. But it has happened in some regressions, it has happened that the person goes to another life.
Mm.
And if that happens, yes, I am prepared to deal with it. I'm prepared to go through it. And, if that happens, then we do it.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes how hypnotherapy works is that when you are in the state, basically you are guided to go wherever you need to go to find out the root of whatever is happening. So that's why it's so effective, because you go to the root.
It's not a yes or no answer, like this works and this doesn't work.
Right. It's a root quest. It's a root cause, right? So it's the cause of whatever issue. So I have this issue, and then you go to the root of it, and then you can heal the root. We're not treating symptoms.
Right. Well, you're getting some amazing feedback in the comments. My cousin said she'll definitely have to contact you after the stream ends. So
Sure.
you'll be getting some calls.
You have a free, you have the free consultation, and yes, I'm happy to just,
Nice. So
Thank you.
I mean, you covered.
Thank you. I can't see the comments.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have to.
I have your expression telling me.
I have to narrate the comments a bit. You have heart faces in the comments, so that's a good sign.
Oh, okay. Nice. Thank you.
So you covered some of these subconscious aspects of mental health and emotional health, but what other lifestyle choices, like say for instance, you know, we know people are heavy drinkers in the Caribbean. Some are, and a lot are.
Yeah.
So how do you think like different lifestyles contribute to your overall health, as well as exercise and these kind of things?
Yes. Well, lifestyle, I will pair it with holistic health, right? Because the lifestyle, at least how I see it or how I explain it, the lifestyle has to do with everything. So lifestyle includes your sleeping, includes your eating, what you eat, what you don't eat, the level or the amount of alcohol you drink, or any other drugs or toxics or whatever it is that you put in your body. That has to do with lifestyle. The exercising has to do with lifestyle. And these things impact your mental and emotional health. So that's the holistic association with the lifestyle. So when I do the therapies and all that, there's always a lifestyle touch to it. So, for example, what do you ask about the drinking? How does that affect what?
Like your overall health, how could that affect your mental health? Because you might, yeah, I mean,
Right.
as much as it may be like a childhood problem, the alcohol may be a way of coping with that. Or I know a lot of people who, smoke marijuana and this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that's a way, in some ways, of coping with those deep
Yeah.
emotional scars, sometimes.
Yes. So that is very important and very good that you say that, because as we never really learned tools right? And coping mechanisms, meaning healthy coping mechanisms, as we never learn to listen to our emotions or our thoughts and accept ourselves and deal with those things. Because we never learned that, then as an adult, we found ourselves with these wounds, right? And then what is out there to cover these wounds? What is out there to cope with these wounds? What can I do to deal with these wounds? So because therapy is still a a stigma, and I mean honestly, there are professionals out there, psychiatrists and psychologists that sadly and honestly, they really stop doing the job of helping people. Some of those, which it happens in every profession. Every profession. Some professionals forget what they're doing. So I say this because I have had clients that have told me that they have been seeing, all the therapies and they haven't seen any result. So it a lot of the times it's because they're not getting what they need. These are some people, and some of the people choose not to go to therapy because of the whole stigma thing,
Right.
right?
So they may
So
find other ways of coping. Sorry, just to I don't know if you want to. I'm just getting a lot of dogs in the background. I don't know if you can check on them as to see.
they are outside.
Okay,
They're
okay.
outside.
No
They're not
probs.
even inside. I can't control it.
No probs, no probs. I was just checking to see if they may be barking at something.
Oh no, don't worry. They just bark at anything.
So yeah, like
Yeah, but that thing, the alcohol thing, is very, very interesting because it's very common. It's common with everybody, right? But it's very common with men, right? Specifically, because men more than women have been taught to not feel their emotions. They have been taught to not be emotional. They have been taught to don't cry, be tough. No, you're a man, you're a boy.
Right.
So in general, men more than women, right? In general. So that's why in general you will always find more men that are going into the alcohol thing because
Or
it's a normal
drugs.
thing.
Right.
And it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. You see it on TV and movies. Everybody's having a drink every day.
Right. Or smoke or
It's
whatever.
just like,
Yeah.
it's normal. So that's one thing, and it reminds me of a guy that I may share after with you. A guy who works with women. He helps women in in dating and in how to deal with men and all that. And this he was saying about men. He was saying we in general are taught to repress our emotions, and then we get we don't talk to each other. We don't talk with other men. We don't talk with our friends about our feelings, about how we're feeling. I feel scared. I feel sad. I'm going through this.
Right.
Like between men, they don't do that.
Right.
So they kind of put this mask of, oh, I'm so tough. And then, no, I mean, you also
It's pressure you're going through. Yeah.
Yes. So he said something very interesting. That he said, well, we never talk with each other and all of that, but then we end up talking in AA.
Right. The same guys come together in AA or somewhere different. You end up in some group talking about the symptoms too. Yeah.
Yeah. Or when you get drunk, you start talking and stuff, but not sober and aware of what's happening.
Right.
And the point of all of it is that it's okay to feel whatever you feel. It's okay to feel it. We are humans. We're humans and we have emotions and we all feel. We all have emotions.
So we have a question related to that. Like, I mean, a friend in the comments is asking Inka, when would you know, like, if something is wrong with you emotionally, like they feel like something is wrong with them? How would they know? How do they find out?
Okay. If you're asking yourself that question, you probably
already know.
Yeah, you're probably going through something,
Right,
right?
right.
Because if not, you wouldn't ask it. So if you ask yourself, is it something going on with me? Is it something that is, is it an emotional issue or mental issue?
Mm.
It's it's probably because there's something happening. That's the first clue. And then the second clue will be to ask yourself and be honest with yourself.
Mm.
Um, how do I feel? Like, what is my emotional state in this moment? Like, how do I feel and how my body feels? We feel our emotions in our bodies.
Right.
So, how do I feel right now? And that's why you need to get in touch with your body. And then you can feel, and then you can be like, oh, this is anxiety. Oh, this is fear. Oh, this is anger. But interestingly enough, and this is normal, a lot of people don't even know how to recognize what emotion it is.
Right.
That's how much lack of information
So,
and education we
so
have.
just now I was feeling a little uneasy when the dogs were barking, but I would just describe it as uneasy. Like I don't know how to place more
Right, right,
specific.
right. So what did that uneasiness felt like? Like in your body, how did it feel?
Well, I feel like that's just more of a natural response to dogs barking too, but
Okay.
also probably trying to um, I guess maintain the audio quality of the stream in a way.
Right, right. So the controlling thing,
Right, right.
which that's a life thing, and I guess I kind of like it because it's that natural,
Hmm.
it's anything can happen, and I mean, just like real life, like in real life you can't prepare and be like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna do this and
Hmm.
nothing is gonna happen and that is gonna come out exactly like that. In real life it's not like that.
Right.
In real life there's many variables.
I mean, the first stream that I had, I had some really terrible audio issues with some deep voice stuff going on, but it was funny nonetheless. It was kind of like a comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can't control certain things. So, like dogs, they have natural responses on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just, it's part of it, identifying your emotions, and you can start with that. It's simple to start with that. You like identify, okay, how am I feeling right now, or what is it causing it?
Hmm.
Is it that my mind is causing it? Is it my thoughts that are causing this feeling, or is it something that is happening right now? And that's awareness. That's why the awareness is so important in all this process of healing.
Hmm. Well,
Self-awareness.
we're having some long comments here. I'm gonna try to read this one out. My cousin again says one of my male friends opened up to me and said that he felt his entire life he couldn't finish a sentence. In other words, he was never allowed to speak without being interrupted. He felt like he had never been listened to by anyone, especially with women in life, starting with his mother. She said it really woke me up to realizing how much internal trauma can be caused by feeling oppressed or suppressed emotionally or mentally.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly like that.
Disagreement. Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Um,
So that,
do you give like so do you only do one-on-one sessions, or do you do like group sessions with like relationship advice or couples therapy and this kind of stuff?
I have had couples.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I advertise or anything like that. But if somebody comes as a couple and they ask me again, I would consider it as a unique something. If it's a couple, depending on what is
The
happening, depending on
circumstances, right?
the circumstance. Like for example, if somebody comes and tells me, I want to stay, with this person, but that person doesn't want to stay with you,
Mm-hmm.
then I can't do couples therapy like that. It has to be
Both parties
both
are
ones need to do something, and in the parameters of healthy. a healthy relationship, not a relationship where there's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna keep you with a person that is abusing you,
Right.
for example. So in that case, yes. And then groups, usually and mostly I do one-to-one. And then the groups that I have is to do the mindful eating course, which is also from a holistic perspective, and it's mainly to learn to have a healthy relationship with our bodies and with food.
Okay.
And it's taken from the perspective of, again, saying mental and emotional things that may be keeping us in a pattern that we can't get out of.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever eating disorder it is,
Yeah.
or even if we want to create a healthier lifestyle that has to do with your self-esteem, your body, feel good in your body, accept your body, and eat healthy, exercise, all these things. That's the program for
Because
the
I
course.
feel like that's a tough one right now, especially for people who are trapped at home. Um,
Yeah,
often
yeah,
people might venture to the fridge or the cupboard
yeah.
to seek some kind of refuge, I guess. I don't know.
Something, yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody, and again, it's just being aware, being mindful of it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have deeper issues, which a lot of people have deeper issues about the eating, and they keep, doing diets and diets and diets and this, and it just going back on the same thing over and over and over.
Mm.
That's when you need to look a little deeper and, find out what is going on. And usually, and this is for everybody, including me, every single human being, we need to work in our self-esteem.
Right.
That's the foundation of your life.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem, self-love, and self-acceptance.
Well, I would imagine like that's kind of why, some of the reasons I'm doing the podcast is in a way to kind of create a routine as well as just engage with people differently. But it also I find it helping with self-esteem, um,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of an indirect way, um, which is similar to the work I do as well, which is like camera work and this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly
Um,
right.
but it's still good conversation. I think I like to have more that kind of one-on-one conversation with people, and that's just something I'm aware of. When it's
Mm-hmm.
in like large groups, you can't really focus too much on what people are saying.
Yes.
Well, for me
Yes.
at least. Um,
Yes.
is there anything that's off limits for you in terms of emotional health, mental health, physical health?
Um. Well, yes. I would say schizophrenia and things like that, like, like psychiatric cases where, the person is maybe in an institution, is internalized, but, like serious things. And
Hmm.
I can only think about schizophrenia because schizophrenia is a very unique um thing, and then it's treated with medicine, it's
Hmm.
treated with drugs.
Right.
So that's why I wouldn't deal with that. I can't. Like,
Right.
I can't deal with that. But then again, it's always with the individual. Like, if I talk with you, then I know, because I will accept. I will say, well, I I think you should see a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can tell the person. And if not, then yes, yeah, we can deal with it. We can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have the first consultation, to talk about, and what's going on, and then I decide. Then we decide, yes, we can do it.
So, for
But
instance,
mostly any, yeah, mental, emotional
so
issue.
like bipolar disorder, and alcoholism, no problem,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Depression, anxiety, addictions, not only alcoholism, but any addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. And besides that, people who may not have serious things like that, but also people who is out there, especially in this time, I think, people looking for something else, like meaning you have a decent normal life, right? You're not an alcoholic, or you don't have any extreme issue that you would say, oh my God,
But
I have a problem.
but you're just feeling maybe a little uneasy, or
Yeah, or you're looking for something else, and whatever it is that you have done in your life, you're still not happy. You're not happy inside. So you feel that there's something missing and there's something more out of life. And I feel, and from my experience, a lot of younger people are feeling that way. The younger generations right now, is the same things don't fulfill you anymore. The same things that fulfill our parents doesn't fulfill younger generations anymore.
and why do you think that is? Is it a sense of purpose, or is it why would you what would you attribute that to?
Uh, Maybe a sense of purpose is I would say in a way evolution. I would say in a way, yeah, because we're supposed to be evolving. Let's remember that we're human beings. We're supposed to be evolving, but not just evolving technological as a technological evolution. We can't forget about the evolution of the human, as us, as the being in
Right.
us. So a lot of it that maybe in past generations that was enough. For example, I have a job, I have a house, I have kids, I get married, I da da da, and then I die, and that's it. That's it. For now, and newer generations, they are looking for something else, something that will fulfill you inside, something that passion. Like a lot of people are not following any career just because that will, because that's what my parents want, so because that will give me money. A lot of people, more than before, are following what they love, or what they feel passionate about, or what they want to do. So all of that brings all kinds of challenges and problems
Right.
in society, and part of that is the amount of children right now in schools that are being diagnosed with the ADD and the attention deficit disorder, the attention deficit disorder and many other disorders, because kids, they don't feel to stay in a classroom. They don't want to stay in a classroom. So it's part of it. You understand? So I don't know where it's coming from, but I would say it's evolution internally as a DNA or.
Well, we have somebody saying that this has a lot to do with the great awakening and remembering that the soul must evolve along with the body. What do you think that means? How would you describe that? Because I don't understand that, to be honest. I don't understand the
Right,
great
very,
awakening when I say that.
very nice, very nice. Because that's what I believe, and that's what I think, and that's where I am. And that's why I say that anybody who's feeling right now that whatever is kind of pushing you, like, okay, there's something more, that feeling, I can also help with that, because it's about that awakening. So the meaning of that is, again, I can explain it to you as evolution. Evolution meaning not just the way they put it is the soul needs to evolve with the body. Yes, that's holistic, right? That's the two, like a team. Yeah. So what it means more or less, and I wanna change the soul for the human. Not that the soul is the human, but in this specific example, just to explain it as what is the soul going with the body or with the physical, is that we need to remember our humanity. So what means remembering our humanity is connecting to that inside, whatever you call it, Mother Earth, the universe, energy, soul, spirit, God, any of that you want to call it, but it's that inside of you that makes you feel connected to everything, because we're all connected. So what will take you to that is that we need to remember our humanity. What I mean with humanity is those feelings of empathy, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, and acceptance of each other. And that takes me to one conversation we had that you talk about inclusion. And even though if we have different views and disagree in some things, we can still respect each other.
And do you think that awakening process happens on an individual sense, or do you think the awakening is like some people speak of like a global awakening, and I'm not too sure if I agree with that. As more of the individual sense. And also to add on to that, one can be awakened and then they may fall back to sleep again. That's what happens on a daily basis. So
yes, yes, you can.
That's also the question. How do you do when you wake up? Is it that's it, or
it takes you back to the individual? Yeah, it takes you back to the individual and your choice. It's a choice. You have a choice. So if you, and it's very interesting because I was seeing a documentary today about that. So amazing.
The interconnectedness.
Yeah. To be more concrete and resume it, to summarize it, is that we are all born as, when we are born, we are a golden Buddha, right? This is a metaphor. As we grow older and we fit into this conditioning, social conditioning, belief systems from other people, projections from others, etc., and you go into that box, then you forget that you are a golden Buddha, right? And then something happens in your life, a trauma, a divorce, a death, close death, something that shakes you, something that is very
like a testing
strong. It's strong, something that shakes you. And then a little piece of the cover up, because that golden Buddha was covered up with all this stuff, a little piece fall down, and then you can see through the hole that, oh, that's what is underneath all this. So you, the individual, then has the choice, then you have a choice to either look away, ignore it, and keep going, or you can be interested enough to, let's see what else is there. Let me keep digging. Let me keep peeling this.
Okay, peeling away the layers.
Peeling away, yes. And to get to that golden Buddha, to that seed, to that uniqueness that is you, that is that essence, which has to do with creativity. What makes you you as a unique individual, which is creativity.
Creativity?
Creativity, like creativity means something that you create, like, but it's from you, it's from that uniqueness. But with all the conditioning that we have grown up with in society, in this world that we have been living in for many years, the creativity is lost. Creativity is lost because everybody has to be the same. You are put in a place where you have to be the same. You have to dress the same. You have to think the same way. You have to behave the same way. So you lose your uniqueness. You lose your essence. And that, you can call it the soul. You can call it your heart. You can call it the spirit. You can call it the universe. I mean, the connection with God. You can call it any way.
And what can someone do to regain that connection with their creative self?
Well, it's the same going within.
Going within.
It's going within.
Different.
So first of all, you can begin something practical.
Mm-hmm.
Just begin practicing meditation. Just practice it. Practice a little bit every day, every day, every day, and then find what works for you. Keep looking and find what works for you. There's a lot of tools out there. A lot of tools. And what I recommend people is to find what works for them. It's part of it. So I have in my website also, I think I took it up, I can't remember, but right now it's like that. Like some people don't even know.
Mm.
So they are like, I don't even know what is for me. Like, how do I know? I'm confused, I'm lost.
Mm.
So with that, I can also help, because it's a help for you to find
Direction,
yourself.
right?
Yeah, direction and where to go. So you can learn to think for yourself, or you can learn to deal with your own things, and then you can kind of find your own way. That's the uniqueness.
I'm
So
seeing.
the awakening you were talking about, how I see it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is the way it is. I'm
Yeah.
saying this is the way
How
I
you see it, yeah.
Right. Is that the awakening starts with the individual.
Mm.
An individual by individual. That's why you have to awake yourself. You can't awake others.
Mm.
I can't come and tell, wake up. I can't do that.
You could try, but yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you're gonna wake.
Mm.
So the individual awakes himself with whatever you need to help yourself to awake. That search, and then at some point, it's global. Why is global? Because, well, there's a lot of people going through
similar things, experiences.
Yes, so that's what globally means.
Mm.
And this is what is happening in an energetic level.
Because many people talk about, like the coming of Christ and, the global or the Great Awakening and like the age of Aquarius. I feel like different cultures and different traditions have different ways of expressing the same thing. However,
exactly.
In my observation, I've seen that it happens, yes, but it doesn't happen all at the same time.
No, of course not.
In that,
no, it's not from one day to the other.
Right. It's a patience kind of thing.
It's a process. It's a process. What I think it may be happening is that it's being pushed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. I feel it's being pushed. So
okay.
It's a push. So it's kind of like a call. Like, for example, when you fail to do this, like, it's like I don't know how to explain it. That thing that comes inside. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do that.
Inspiration,
like
inspiration. Yeah.
An inspiration. So when that happens, it's the voice. You can say it's the voice of your heart. It's the voice of that inside that is telling you, do this. It's, whatever it is, even though the rational mind may be scared. Like, you may be scared. Of course you're going to be scared. It's something new.
Right.
And the fear is always there, and it's fine. It's okay to have that fear. That's the thing. You just don't fight it. But the thing is that you, in spite of the fear, you still do it. And that's what pushing your comfort zone is. Also, and that's how you grow.
Well, somebody is same cousin is saying learning to love and trust selves unconditionally. I think she was saying oneself. I'm not sure, but yeah,
love and accepting yourself unconditionally. Yes,
what
that's pretty much the guidance.
What are some books that you can recommend, or you're saying there are many tools? She was saying earlier that she read a book by Doreen Virtue titled Angel Medicine.
Okay.
What are some books that you can recommend for people who might be interested in doing some deep internal work?
Self-help. Yes. Well, honestly, I read a lot of books growing up about all kind of self-help and emotional, mental, all these things, because I was so passionate about it and I was applying it to myself. So I forgot the name.
Well, I noticed you have some behind you too, so
But yeah,
I
I'm
guess
gonna
that's your
tell you.
favorites too, yeah.
Well, no, these are the ones that survive
Right.
from. I have been living in different countries, by the way. I was born in Venezuela, by the way.
Okay.
That's why I have an accent. And I've been living in Trinidad for a few years, and then I live abroad for a few years in Catan, Spain, and the States, Florida, doing my studies and research and all these things and getting ready. So this is what it survived
From the
after
moves.
all those moves that
Right.
I've been
There
having.
wasn't Kindles. You didn't have the Kindle versions around.
I
You
don't,
don't like the
I prefer the, the real, the thing.
tactile, yeah.
I'm a classical, old school book thing. But one thing, one book that I honestly recommend everybody, because it's something for everybody. Everybody can get benefits from it, and it's simple. Is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
The Power of Now.
Yeah, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's a German name. And he has videos. He's well known. And that's a simple book that will help you to start getting connected with your body and start to be more in the present. Because always remember, whatever you're doing, part of the awakening or part of being aware or awake means being in the present, being in the now, and healing the past to be able to create a new future or different future. So that's for the individual, right? Now, that's one. And another one is this one called Reasons to Stay Alive.
Okay.
By Matt
Haig.
Yes. So Reasons to Stay Alive. This is from a guy who is talking about his experience of addiction and wanting to kill himself. So this is for, anyone who may be going through that, and they want to, read the experience of somebody else who went through that and did go out of it. So that's why I got it.
That's important, yeah. To share that experience.
Yes, and it's good. I read it because it's good, and I wanted to read it and see if I can recommend it. And yes, it's very helpful if somebody is going through that, or if they have a family member that may have tried to kill themselves, or may, or suicidal or anything like that. So our depression, like really clinical depression, is helpful for that because it's his personal experience. Cool. So those are two things: one simple one and another one little.
So a general and a specific one.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Could you share with the audience a bit more about your courses? Getting hot.
It's getting hot.
Yeah. I think this is the last question here.
Yes. So this is just to, if anybody wants to keep in touch with the activities that I'm offering and all of that, they can go to a website and subscribe. Yeah. So there's a mailing. You subscribe for the mailing list. I don't send a lot of emails. It's just like one a month or maybe two if it's something going on, something happening. And second, there is a self-hypnosis for free that I made for specifically this time that we're going through. So it's a self-hypnosis recording, a self-hypnosis audio that you can find on the website by free tools, in the section of free tools and prices that's together. The free tools, then there's a self-hypnosis recording to help you then let go of fear and anxiety, and then reinforce that peace, love, and raise your vibration to love instead of attaching so much to fear, especially in this time. So that's the focus of it. Third, there is Qigong and mindfulness class that I started today, actually, on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Trinidad and Tobago time.
And this is a Zoom call.
Yes, it's a Zoom meeting, and it's a class specifically to move our body, move our energy, and strengthen our immune system. That's what Qigong does. Qigong is exercises with breathing, and it helps us to raise our immune system by letting go of stress, relaxing, and practicing mindfulness also, which is present. And then the mindful eating course is gonna start on May, but via Zoom also.
Okay.
So that's gonna be an intensive of 1 month.
And that's an individual course, or is it a group course?
It's a group.
Right.
It's a group course.
Okay,
so
cool.
that one is the 27th of May, and it's gonna be every Wednesday and Saturdays, 2 days a week. For 1 month, and that's the whole course. It's an intensive. So I kind of did it like, hey, let's get healthy, or let's start creating a healthy lifestyle, like using this time for us to
do it. No excuses because you're trapped indoors.
And then also learning for the future, like take care of your health, as we understand is the most important part. Without health, you can't do anything.
Somebody's asking where they can access the Zoom classes. If you go to Evy's website, which is harmoniousinfinity.com, you will see all. Yeah, I have it up here, Harmonious Infinity. I'm actually I'll put it in the comments so that you could check out some of her free tools, events, all the services that she offers. Everything is pretty well outlined. You have ebooks, you have a lot of different things here. Self-hypnosis.
The class in the self-hypnosis that I created is for free. I did it as a contribution to everybody. The Qigong and mindfulness class, I'm doing it by donation. So everybody can put whatever they can. But I mean, minimum $1.
Okay. This is the Qigong. The Qigong class is by donation.
Yeah, the Qigong and mindfulness class on Saturdays is by donation. You will see it there.
Awesome.
And it's just minimum $1, just to help us all.
Right.
And if you can more, then put a little bit more, whatever you can. And then the mindful eating program, it is paid, but it's a reasonable price also, because of the situation, etc.
And that's more in depth and more particular to each individual, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's for people. You can see a free sample of the ebook in the website also, and when you read that free sample, or if you want to buy the ebook, which is just $4 there, then you can have a better understanding of what the course has, because the course is based on each chapter of the ebook. Okay. So what we do is that we go in depth within each chapter, and we do hypnotherapy sessions, we do exercise, we do, we talk about food specifics, practical tools, change habits. It's more for anyone who wants to create a healthier self-esteem, a healthier relationship with your body and food, and create a healthy lifestyle so you can come out of this
with a smile, with a
better in every way.
Well, thanks for sharing all your free information, as well as all the courses you offer. I just want to say, well, thanks for joining me again. I know we'll probably talk hopefully this week again, just to follow up. And anybody watching, feel free to go check out Evy's page, sign up for her courses, give her a call. She has Instagram as well, at Harmonious Infinity again. Anything you want to add? I
think that's pretty much. Yes, I mean,
For
just
anybody going through any kind of stress right now?
um, yes. Well, I can say that it's not easy for anyone. Like, it's something that we're all going through, and however it's affecting you, of course, it's an individual thing. However, it's affecting you, but however it's affecting you, just use this opportunity to look at it, to look at however that is affecting you for whatever reason. And it is a good opportunity for that self knowledge and growth and understanding of yourself. So, however you are feeling, you can look at it and learn from it. So, mainly, let's think about what we're learning with this experience of being home with whoever we are, or if we are alone or we are with family. Just see what you can learn from that experience for yourself to become a better human being, or however you can feel better after this.
Well, you're getting a lot of support in the comments here. Plenty love from my family as well, so that's good to
Okay,
see.
thank you. Well, yeah, thank you for everybody who listened. Thank you for everybody who participated. Again, I can't really see,
The
but
comments here. You could go
yeah.
back. You could go back afterwards and see.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for the viewers, and thank you for the comments, thank you for the love, and thank you, Robert, for having me. Thank you for thinking of me with this. I appreciate it.
No problems, and thanks for taking the risk, because I know a lot of people mightn't feel comfortable, but it's just really and truly it's just a regular chat. Of
Yeah,
course, we do cover a couple topics and questions.
yeah.
So thanks again as well for anyone who watched this entire thing. Um, this is the shortest one so far, I think. I'm trying to keep within that hour limit, but hour
Mm-hmm.
15, we're all right. And
Right.
please like and share with anybody who you think would be interested in hearing some of the topics we covered. Join the community if you can as well. Make any donations via my PayPal. The links are in the description of the video. And yeah, stay tuned for some of the new episodes we have coming up. Feel free to make suggestions, and thanks for tuning in again. Bye.
Are we hanging too? Are we hanging?